Tony D and Little Joan with your Screenwriters Rant on Horizon, an American Saga, starring Kevin Costner as the cowboy. Maybe. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 13, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. It looks like Kevin is directing this as well as starring. It looks pretty epic. I mean, with his success in Yellowstone, I kind of agree, at least partially, with Razorfist, who said 2024 may be the year of the Western, or will be the year of the Western. They probably put a bunch of Westerns in turnaround and production because of that, and they're trying to capitalize on it. It's something that Hollywood tends to do well. I don't know about all the time, but quite often the Westerns are pretty good because, number one, you don't have to deal with wokeness. Michael Rooker's in it too. A lot of people are in this movie. Number two, it's pretty classic in terms of the formatting, where you're going to go with it. There's always action. There's always drama. It's rough and tumble. It's American. People like that. So I think these movies could do well. So here's the lineup. Kevin Costner, of course. Sienna Miller. Sam Worthington has to be in a cowboy movie. Giovanni Ribisi. I don't know if he's done a lot of Westerns. Jenna Malone, Abby Lee, Michael Rooker, Danny Houston, Luke Wilson. I saw a scene with him. Isabel Furman, Jeff Fahey, Will Patton, Tanaka Means, and Owen Crowshoe. Gee, I wonder who he plays. Chapter 1, June 28th. Chapter 2, August 16th. That's weird, right? That's a weird sort of grouping. We're doing chapters now, but this is the kind of thing I think could be the new trend because of the streaming. Because if you get a good movie you like, you want to see more, and if they haven't put it in the pipeline already, if they wait until the movie comes out, then it takes forever for them to get a second movie. However, if they put it right in production, it's kind of easier. They'll save some money. You know, they'll still have the sets built. They could shoot them all together. But if the first movie fails, you've invested a lot of money. So that's the downside. Written by John Baird, Kevin Costner, directed by Kevin Costner. This is from Warner Brothers. So good on Warner Brothers. This is something, I think Warner Brothers should be doing. It's basic. It's basic good movies. No one's going to come to this movie and protest it because there wasn't enough representation. And in fact, there's going to be a bunch of indigenous people in it. It seems like they got a balance here of the Indians and the cowboys. So, depending on how they handle it. Now, it's possible the execution could be extremely woke, but I kind of doubt it. I don't see Kevin Costner doing that kind of stuff. He's always used indigenous actors in his movies to make it more authentic. So I think it could be good. It looks good. Shot well. It's a little slow. It feels a little plodding, but that's okay. I mean, it's a bit different from the, Marvel shoot 'em ups and, bells and whistles. So I think it could work. It comes out in June. It's not really a summer movie, but it's not really a winter movie either. So I think it kind of works. I don't think it'll be fun. That's the downside of releasing it in June, I think. However, there's just nothing to see. I mean, I don't know what people are even looking forward to. The Dune movie looks like it's been good, but that's already out. So could this be the big movie? I think it could do okay. I mean, I think it could do well. Definitely the Yellowstone people The Yellowstone fans will flock to this. It'll do well overseas. Uh, the UK especially loves westerns. Oh my God, the English love westerns. So I think you've got a lot of potential for it. Um, I'm not sure. Are they just doing chapter 1 and 2? That seems odd. It seems like they usually do it in threes, but we'll see. Let's read the write up. Oh, well, let me do the 3-act breakdown. It's kind of hard to tell because it's kind of an epic movie. So it's going to be chapter 1. I think it's taking place during the era, when the frontier's opening up. I forget what year it was. I think it was after the Civil War. I want to say 1870, where they opened up the land and you could just go out there and settle. Um, so it's in that era. So you still have a lot of Indian tribes. They're feeling encroached upon. There's a lot of tension between them. They're fighting back and forth, and you have the settlers. You have Union troops. You have cowboys and gunslingers, that kind of thing, and all these towns propping up, like right around the gold rush, but kind of prior to that. I don't think they've reached California yet. So could be fun. I would say the first act is they're setting out on the trails. Bad things are happening. Well, at first it's fine, but then as they encounter the various Indian groups, it gets more and more dangerous. There's at least one scene where two of the women characters hide in a basement while the son of the older woman decides to stay upstairs and fight it out or join his father on the front lines of whatever it is. There's a scene of Luke Wilson trying to keep his caravan of people together. So I think it's probably going to be like first act, they're heading out there and the wind up to that. Second act, they hit all these troubles. You've got Indians, you've got disease, you've got just, little things, food, winters. Kevin Costner's some kind of badass. I'm not quite sure. So maybe he's one of those sort of gray characters. He was bad, but now he's good. He's trying to protect these people, and he's not afraid to use a gun. So it's kind of hard to read how it'll end, because there's not a lot in the trailer other than cowboy stuff, right? People dying, people shooting, Indians, shooting bows and arrows. It's all pretty standard stuff. So let's read the write-up. This summer, and how does it end? Chapter 1 has to lead into Chapter 2. So I don't think they arrive at where they're going at. Maybe they get to a place and attempt to start a settlement, but it's untenable and it gets burned down. There's a scene where one of the actors is saying, oh, whatever you build, they'll burn it down, and then you'll have to build it again or something like that. So it'll be kind of like that. They probably build a settlement, the Indians come in and wipe it out, and then it's about them coming back and, taking the land, something like that. The summer, the American Saga begins. Horizon, an American Saga, June 28th. Okay, so a very summer movie. Academy Award-winning visionary filmmaker Kevin Costner directs New Line Cinema's vast Horizon, an American Saga, chapters 1 and 2, a multifaceted chronicle covering the Civil War expansion and settlement of the American West. Yeah, so right after the Civil War. So maybe we, like American Dances with Wolves, maybe you get a little taste of the Civil War. A story of America too big for one film. This is a true cinematic event. Stars Costner, co-writes with John Baird. The Explorers Guild, I don't know him. Produces through Territory Pictures. In the great tradition of Warner Brothers Pictures' iconic westerns, Horizon, an American Saga explores the lore of the war, the Old West, and how it was won and lost through the blood, sweat, and tears of many. Spanning 4 years of the Civil War, from 1861 to 1865, Costner's ambitious cinematic adventure, so I guess it takes place during the Civil War, will take audience on an emotional journey across a country at war with itself, experienced through the lens of families, friends, and foes, all attempting to discover what it truly means to be the United States of America. It's a bit much, but okay. It's ambitious. Costner stars alongside an impressive ensemble cast, and I read all those names. A lot of them. This is the first time he's directed since 2003 with an acclaimed hit, Open Range. I don't even remember that one. Revisits Civil War America setting for his 1990 blockbuster directorial debut, Dances with Wolves. I wonder if he'll tie it in. I wonder if there'll be an Easter egg with Dances with Wolves. Like maybe he'll gallop past the fort. If you remember the fort where Kevin Costner shows up and it's just like an American flag and like basically nothing else. That would be kind of cool if that was in the background of a shot. Dances with Wolves, which won 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director. He produces alongside Howard Kaplan and Mark Gillard, with Danny Pekoff, Robert, blah, 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 blah. Who cares about the producers? Nobody cares about the producers. Come on. Director of Photography, Michael Murrow, The Billionaire Boys Club, and Parker, and various other production people. So, various credits. Like, unless they have a Western credit, I don't know why you would bother to list their credits, but okay. So good. Good. Yeah. I mean, they're investing a ton of money in this. Although my one reservation would be this. Is Warner Brothers doing the same thing Disney did, which was putting too many eggs in one basket, right? So I don't know what they're spending on these two films. It's got to be north of $200 million. Absolutely has to be. I mean, it's a lot of people. This is, I mean, they don't have effects, but, I mean, they probably do have effects. The effects in this is going to be to erase cities and planes in the background and cars and telephone wires and all that stuff's going to be erased. That's the effects of this. But, I mean, still, you have a period piece. There's going to be a lot of stunts. You've got a lot animal trainers for the horses. There's got to be a ton of those guys. You're outside all the time. You're at the mercy of the weather and the heat, and so there's a lot going on in a movie like this. There's not a lot of soundstage stuff, because even the stuff you're going to shoot in a soundstage, you know, it's tough because the insides of a lot of these buildings were pretty ramshackle. And most of the inside scenes, especially in a house, like in the scene that's in here, where they're being attacked, like this. I mean, you could shoot this in a soundstage, and maybe it was, probably was. But, you know, they go right outside in a lot of these scenes, too. And it's a very small building. So I think a lot of it's going to be, I mean, that has to be outside. Everything's outside, mainly. Very, very little inside shooting. So you're at the mercy of the weather. The upside is, you can see here, now they probably didn't have to do any work in the background of this shot. But if they did, they would just drop a green screen and, you know, drop it in now. So, and then they do low shots like this, like, so you can't see really the background. You're just seeing the sky, shooting them at a low angle. So you don't have to worry about if there's a radio tower or something in the background. But, so that, they're going to save money. But, you know, it's still going to be a pretty expensive endeavor. And when you're talking about something epic, you're spending the money probably on music to have it composed. And so it's not going to be cheap. I think this is going to be north of $200 million. So it sounds like a good pitch. I mean, it's not the worst investment I've ever seen. They don't have a fan base to piss off, really. I mean, it's pretty hard to piss off the Western fan base unless you really go off script. Like, you'd have to go pretty far afield. You'd have to make this woke as F for people to go, oh, God. Or really awful. And clearly, I mean, you just watch the trailer. It looks pretty nice. Even just watching it for the vistas is kind of nice. So, but it's a big investment. So Warner Brothers needs a return on this. Needs a return. But I think it's a fairly safe bet. I think it's a fairly safe bet. It comes out in the summer. Not a lot going up against it. Disney's kind of falling apart. The only thing, I think Deadpool drops before this, and that's kind of the only thing Disney had in the pipeline that, to me, would be a summer movie that I can think of off the top of my head. There's probably like one or two others, but you've got the Yellowstone fans, and they'll definitely come out for this because Costner's in Yellowstone, and he's kind of most of that show to a large extent. So, yeah, I think it's a good bet. Horizon, an American Saga, Part 1, Chapter 1, with more to come later in the summer. So if you love Westerns, this is probably going to be about, I'm going to guess, 5 hours of Western. And that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more bass takes. If you can find a more bass take, I say, take it. I will be at the Tyndall Road Brewing Company. That's on Wednesday, the 28th, for my talk on how to hunt the Jersey Devil. Hope to see you there. We'll see you in the next one.